Hello, hello, hello. My name is Raymond Aaron, New York Times top 10 best-selling author. And I'm not here to tell you how to write a book. I'm not here to teach you how to race to the North Pole. I'm not here to tell you how to ride a unicycle. I'm here to introduce one of the sweetest, most darling people I know, who's also one of the most powerful, powerful people I know. And as a result of that, when she writes a book, it goes straight to #1. And when they want to make the greatest movie of all time, The Secret, they make sure that she's in it. She's powerful. She's a darling. She's amazing. And if you're lucky enough to work with her, then she will make you a millionaire. She's called the Millionaire Maker because she makes millionaires and she keeps track. She writes down the date that you join her program, and then she calculates the number of months it takes her to make you a millionaire. She's amazing. She deserves to be in The Secret. Her books are powerful, and she's right here with us. And I'm adding her right now. There you are.
We are.
Laurel Langemeier.
Introduce me all the time. You're so sweet.
Now, your name is probably misspelled even more than mine is.
Yep, all the time. Yep. In fact, we've done some Google searches, and there's about 11 ways that they misspell whether Laurel. Laurel always gets misspelled because I'm the only one that has that name.
Right.
I've never met anybody. And funny, one of my clients called, I don't know, years ago. So I think there's one that's like maybe 2 or 3 years old, but they asked my permission because they knew it was so unique to call their girl Laurel and write it my way. So I think there might be one more on the planet, but my last name's butchered. So yeah.
But, you know, no matter how difficult it is to pronounce or to spell her name, people find her because they need her. They find her because she's brilliant. They find her because she is a leader, but she's a sweet leader. Like she takes good care of you, but she pushes you like crazy.
Yep.
She has the exact right balance. And that's why when I decided to host the biggest event of my life coming up this coming weekend, I said to my board of directors, well, we got to get Laurel or there's no point. And so here she is, the world famous Laurel Langemeier. And here is my big event coming up, masteryofgreatness.com. Mastery of Greatness. It's a virtual event. People from countries all over the world are registering like crazy. Enrollments are coming in now at several hundred a day leading up to the event. They're just streaming in. And I'm going to be talking all about it. And I'm going to be introducing you to Laurel. If you don't know her, like you might have been under a rock for the last couple of decades and not know her. I'm going to be talking all about it. But the faster you get in, the better. And the reason is we're nearing the limit. The platform that we're using allows us a certain maximum. I think it's a couple thousand. And when we hit that, we're just not allowed to register any longer. So if you go to masteryofgreatness.com and there's a simple form to fill in like your name and email address, the background is white, then go ahead and do it. But if the background is red and it says, sorry, you're too late, then I apologize. It's not because I don't like you. It's because the technology just won't allow us to have more than a couple thousand people.
Yeah.
So here it is. Oh, let me show you the date. Yeah, it's coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, September 25, 26, and 27, 3 full days, masterofgreatness.com. And first of all, before you tell us what you're going to teach us on those amazing days, tell us who you are. Let people know right from you what you've done and how good you are and why people should be amazed by you.
You're awesome. I love you. I am the Millionaire Maker, like you said. So I was given that name by McGraw-Hill and my authors. It's really interesting how we write books and do surveys and focus groups. And the backstory is I grew up in Nebraska with no financial education or conversation, so typical of most people. But at 17, Dennis Waitley gave me the book Think and Grow Rich. And then I began my journey studying why so few people can figure out how to become a millionaire. And there has to be a formula. It cannot be that difficult. We're just not taught. So what I'm going to teach you during the Mastery of Greatness is what we're taught and why it's not working and why so many people stay stuck. And then I'm going to give you what I call the Millionaire Matrix, the formula on how to build a multi-million-dollar action plan. It is not difficult. all walks of life have done it. As Raymond knows, I've traveled to every continent but Antarctica teaching this. So it's not US centric. And by the way, I'm married to a Canadian. Raymond came to our wedding in Banff, Canada in 2016. It was the funnest wedding ever. It was one of those, right, where met this hot Canadian. And a year later on our first date, we went back, we walked our date. We went to the restaurant, we went to the same bar, and hundreds of people just followed us. It was awesome. And so I know, but I share that because I know the Canadian, finance. I know the banks. I know how the infrastructure works financially there, which is very similar than in the UK, South Africa, and Australia, Asia, Dubai, you name it. Raymond and I have been all over the world together. So look forward to working with everybody and really helping them understand that you can be a millionaire depending on your country and your background and skill set. Some of you are going to have some, I'm going to say, bigger things to learn, but everyone can do it. I've taken single moms with 5 kids off welfare. I've taken a guy that's become a billionaire. He walked into my show with a cart, which you kind of much means that he was homeless. And he was the first one to run to the back of the room to get that game that's up there on my shelf. And I said, because the first one to run to the back of the room with him and his cart went to the back of the room. And I said, sir, so you do have to pay for it. He said, I don't care. He said, you have an office here on Circular Quay in Australia. He said, I will figure out how to make $50 payments every week and figure out how to get you a workshop. Well, damn, he not only got to the workshop, he won the workshop. He became a millionaire in about 18 months. What was interesting about him, he was highly overeducated. I think he had 3 PhDs. He thought that getting wealthy was about getting these massive degrees and all these letters behind his name. And so we just took his amazing brain and then really helped him understand how to do business and how to be an entrepreneur. And I'll say in this COVID time, there's so many of you that are entrepreneurial and education and occupationally trained. You're not entrepreneurially trained, which means you don't know how to market. You don't know how to sell. You don't understand cash flow. And you may be the best at what you do, but you're not a good business owner. So we're going to talk about how do you transition that. And, Raymond, I love helping people make money. And I just did a workshop, which we're going to invite your folks to. One gentleman, and he actually is from Canada. We have a lot of your Canadian folks. He did $7,500 in just 2 days, $7,500 online like this, and made money. So I love teaching people how to make money.
Wow.
It's fun.
Wow. It is. It is. And you know what I found? What holds people back is they have a category that they put themselves in. Mm-hmm. So if you go up to someone and say, what do you do? They will tell you one thing. I'm a plumber. I'm a baker. I'm a pilot. And that's the death. Because if you think you can only do one thing, especially if you've gone to university for several years to learn how to do it and you developed your skills, which is legitimate, you imagine that that's all you are. And so you stop looking for opportunities. And the message of the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, was when he was a little boy, his best friend's father, who was the rich dad, hired them to work in his convenience store, but wouldn't pay them so that they would have to be on the lookout for opportunities. And little Robert Kiyosaki saw that the guy took away the comic books after a week and put new comic books. And little Robert said, what are you doing with them? He said, I just throw them out. Well, can I have them? Yeah, sure, if you don't resell it. So he didn't resell it. He hired his sister, and people came to the basement of his home and paid his sister to borrow them, not buy them. So he wasn't breaking any rules. And he was bringing in $2 or $3 a day, paying his sister a dime a day. And he was in business at age 10 because he was aware, because he looked around for opportunities. He didn't call himself a speaker or a doctor or a dentist. He had to keep looking around for what's available. And in times of rapid change, like this lockdown, in times of gigantic change, that's when opportunities are just everywhere. There's millions and millions of opportunities everywhere. And Laurel is the best person on the planet to open up your horizon, to widen your horizon. Stop saying that you are whatever you went to school to do, or stop saying whatever your employer hires you to do. I'm a clerk, I'm a baker. Stop it. Yeah. You're a human. You're an entrepreneur, even though you're not doing it right now, or maybe you're not.
Or not doing it well, right?
You're not doing it well.
And one of the words, I just have to jump in. So what we're going to teach you regardless of your background, is, and here's my talk track. My name's Laurel, and I'm a money expert. So we're going to teach you a very short, quick, you're an expert in something, but it's a huge umbrella category. So when I say I'm an expert in money, Raymond, I can go anywhere. I can talk about qualified plans. I can talk about making money. I can talk about keeping money. I can talk about investing money. I can talk about your wealth team. Like, I can talk about all this stuff. And so when we teach them, right, and then you're going to write the book, we're going to teach you, like, what are you an expert in? The big category. Because so many people, like you said, they just have this little tiny identity. And when you open up your identity and your expertise, the world and the money's right there anyway. That's probably the light bulb moment I love during our workshop is, and just our process is when you get it, you're like, oh my gosh, like the blinders are off. I can make money. And the money's right there. You just don't have to pick it up.
Right. Bob Proctor, I love him for this. I hired him to speak to my clients, and he said, he was teaching you how to make money. And he said, by the way, when you make all this money, where does it come from? And no one knew. He said, it comes from where it is now. Why leave it there?
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a hoot. What a guy.
I would say the money's right there. The money's just in somebody else's pocket or bank account. It just needs to come to yours, and you're going to provide an amazing value and service to them to get it. It's right there.
So I want to tell you a little surprise. Not only is the Millionaire Maker undisputed star of the movie The Secret, multiple New York Times #1 and top 10 author, New York Times bestselling author, not only is she going to be there, which is enough, that's enough, but also Brian Tracy, who is the king of psychology of success, and Dr. John Gray, who's the absolute master of relationships. And when I called him and said, what would you talk about? And he said, Raymond, are you nuts? This is the most important time that they need relationships, because right after the lockdown, there's either going to be a race to maternity wards or a race to divorce courts. One or the other. They're going to either make love or wring each other's neck. And I would rather that they made love. And so Dr. John Gray is going to be there to help you from the relationship point of view through this pandemic. Brian Tracy is going to teach you like he's going to piggyback on top of what Laurel's saying about selling and being abundant. Oh, it's going to be amazing. But let's get back to Laurel. So tell us a wonderful story of somebody who didn't think they could do it, low self-esteem, low income, blah, 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 lousy credit rating. And then they listen to you and bang, tell me about some special case, a young lady or a kid or somebody.
I have so many going. So the one that comes to mind, and it was really fun to do this to and with her, because I actually am not going to do all your work. You're going to do the work. I'm just going to guide you on how to do it. And one of the things that I'll teach you is how to sequence. So I had a single mom. She's got a beautiful young daughter, and she's fairly recent client. She would just kind of check in and put her little toe in the water. And then finally, I just really pushed her, tears and everything, to just jump and just commit, because she always had a job, and then she always had part-time stuff. And I think a lot of single moms do that. By the way, I was a single mom by choice. And Raymond knows my son very well. Just turned 21. Yes, and I have my Georgia Southern shirt on. He is the starting center for Georgia, and I will be in New Orleans watching him play the day before when I join to come teach. So can't wait. But I had, I wanted to be a mom. He didn't want to be a dad. So I had Logan by myself. So I really know how to help parents. I mean, it's not just women, but I mean, over 60% of families are either blended and or single in some capacity, and how to do that and how to make money. And I just kept pushing her to stop this little noise of a little bit here and a little bit here and kind of this scattered plan. I said, just focus on what you're damn good at. And she was so good at food, but she does food. She's a total foodie, but she uses this fasting technique to help you get healthy. It's like, well, what a great contradiction. I need you to write her book, because it is such a great fasting foodie contradiction. So we really worked on her expertise and all of that. And we got her plan together, and we built her a funnel. Like, what is she going to sell? And what are her reports, and what are her supplements? Like, how does she do it? And we're just kind of putting her toe in the water, doing a very simple group program for a couple $100. And I said, no, you're going to come. And she's in our big table mastermind. I said, you're going to come and make, let's just set a goal of $10,000 on a weekend. And she's like, there's no way I could do $10,000 on a weekend. I said, you're going to have a $997 product, and you're going to sell 10 people. I said, I'll put the room together. I'll let you speak. And then I'll come at the end and I'll help you close at least 10 people. So you make $10,000. She said, I have never made that in a month. I don't even like that's usually a quarter. I said, so we're going to do it in a couple days. In fact, we're going to do it. If you really looked at it, we're going to do it in less than an hour. She's like, there's no way. I said, well, are we going to be in no way or we're going to get to it? So fast forward, very quietly, comes, gives an amazing scientific presentation on cells and membranes and restoring. And I said, and? She said, and I hope that was really good. And I said, oh, no. So you can imagine I got right up there in the front of the room with her and I made her close. And she's like, well, if you want to work with me, let me know. Here's a sign-up sheet. I said, no. So anyway, we had fun. I had total fun with her. And she did $11,000 in like that moment. I said, she didn't even have an order form. I said, get your order form. She wants an order form. I said, get a piece of paper. I don't care. It's a name. It's an address. It's a credit card number. I said, you're going to process them. I said, do you have a Square? She said, yep. I said, we're going to run through that Square. I said, first, you better call Square because they've never seen that kind of money from you. And they might think it's fraud. So make sure you call the credit card company and everybody's going to be forgiving and helpful. If you don't run the money till, Monday, everyone's going to stay in. So anyway, that's just one of many, many things. But I get really in there. I think part of the reason I want to share that story is, when you're committed, I'm committed. And I'll roll up my sleeves and stand right up there. And because I can tell you, when you cross the line of making money and you get it, like it's like fishing or riding a bike. You can't take the skill away. There's just this thing that you have that is so blocking you from being able to just receive money regularly and on an ongoing basis. And I mean, Raymond and I work so well together. I love endorsing my clients to go his books and then brings his books back. What do you think a lot of the people are going to sell that sign up that have Raymond write your book? You're going to sell your book to our audience, right? And then you're going to sell your webinar. And then maybe you'll end up like Lindsay and, come in front of a live audience and make $11,000. I have another woman on track right now. I think she came from you too. She is on $150,000 month. And she is like, you're insane, Laurel. That's what she called it. She was like, you are insane. This cannot happen. I said, well, as long as you think it can happen, it can happen. Here's exactly how it's going to happen. You have a coaching program and it shouldn't be 5,000. It should be 15,000. So you're going to go find 10 people in your 8,000 person list. 10 people. That's all we're looking for. We're looking for 10 humans in 1 month to give you $15,000. And so she's on it. She's like working it. And we talk a couple other days and she gets all these objections and I help talk her through her script and how she's going to make 150. So our goal is $150,000 in 30 days. And I can't wait to brag about her. Anyway, I could go on and on. I have so much is about lack of clarity, lack of skill. You just haven't been taught. And then honestly, your believability in yourself to say, and how are you going to pay? Credit card? You're going to put swipe, going to do Venmo, how you going to pay? Going to wire, going to e-transfer, how you going to pay? And I think so many, especially women, are scared to say those words like pay me. And it's just, we're going to get that like easy, get it in your DNA.
You can see why she's so powerful. So let's go back to that first lady. Mm-hmm. She couldn't believe she could make $10,000 in a weekend. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, it was $10,000 in an hour.
Right.
But the most important thing is it was only her belief that was locking that out. Because if I said to you, Laurel, let's do a weekend course in which we're going to make $10,000, we'd both laugh and say, no, thanks. We don't want $10,000 for a weekend. When we do a weekend workshop, we want to make several $100,000.
Yeah.
And that would be normal. Now, if someone said to us, how would you like to make $20 million in a weekend? We'd say, whoa, that would be our afraid area. But it's so much fun to take people who are scared to even earn anything and bring them up to a number that they can't even believe, like $150,000 in a month. And it's just 10 people paying you $15,000. And if you've written a book or you have some credibility or Laurel endorses you or something like that, and you realize, well, gosh, I have 8,000 people. So if 7,985 people turn me down, I've got $150,000 a month. And so it's not easy. I want to say it's easy. I'm not making light of what you do. What you do is genius. But once they've overcome it, then it is easy. Then they'll say to you, what was the big problem?
Right.
And now if you say to them now, do you want to make 150,000 next month? No way. Let's go for 200. But at the beginning of the month, they couldn't say that.
At all. And the other thing that I find with really new entrepreneurs, and there's so many new entrepreneurs, I'd say that's the blessing of COVID, is there's so many new entrepreneurs. Like I have never been so creative and so engaged in a long time because I haven't had the flood of entrepreneurs saying, I don't want to go back to work. Teach me how to do this, what you do online. Teach me how to make money so I don't have to go back. And at least what I say to you is, even if you want to go back, and some of you, we need you to go back for whatever that role is you do in the world. But man, have extra business on the side. You get deductions, your taxes are better, all that extra revenue. And that's really what this woman wants 150 for. There's a big asset she wants to buy, a big one. And she's she's going through a divorce. And I said, just make this money for you and yourself and your kids and go put it to work, and it said, nice. It's like a 15% return deal. I said, so then just go make it. She said, well, I can't make it fast enough. I said, you can do anything. You just have to get a new thinking about it. But the other barrier, Raymond, that I've been running into, which is kind of interesting, is employees are so used to getting their money through a paycheck. And then they're so used to having a role. And when you're an entrepreneur, you do a little bit of a lot of stuff and you lead more than anything. So the other thing that we're really going to talk about is, how do you lead as an entrepreneur? How do you lead a marketing team? How do you lead a sales team? How do you lead an accounting team? How do you lead a fulfillment team? Because when you're coming from an employee to an entrepreneur, you're thinking, well, I'm just going to do this one little piece. It's like, oh no, you have to oversee and lead all of it. The challenge is you don't get to do it, which means you got to make the money to pay the people. And so we really dig in and pull that onion apart of how does it work. And by the end of our time together, we end up what we call a revenue producing day. And so what does a day look like in the life of a profitable, very profitable entrepreneur? And a lot of you have no idea. You'll be blown away how little you have to do, but how much you have to lead. And that is a huge transition I'm finding with a lot of these employees that are out here now learning from me, trying to become an entrepreneur. And they just don't know how to do their day. Their day's all.
I learned that many years ago in my very first business. I manufactured a soft drink. I was hoping to compete with Coca-Cola. Unfortunately, Coca-Cola won and I did not win. But I asked for a loan from the bank, my very first business loan, and I got a phone call saying that the banker was going to come to my office. Hello. And I became the cleaning lady. I had to buy a mop, buy a bucket. I had to figure out how to use them. And I cleaned the floors. And then I put my suit back on for the banker. So I went from cleaning lady to, and I'm not being sexist, I don't know what the non-sexist term for that is, cleaning person. And then I became the CEO. And then because I was doing all that day and I let my other duties go, I was trying to hire a trucker, but I didn't have any time. So I hopped in the truck illegally because I didn't have a trucking license, and I delivered the soft drinks.
I love it.
It's hilarious. You got to do everything. Not everything. You got to do whatever needs to get done, no matter what. Right. But when you're an employee, you can say, oh, sorry, it's not my job description, and life will still go on because it's a big company. Yeah, it's fun. The life of an entrepreneur is completely fun.
Yeah. And I think the fun part for a lot of you that just heard that piece and go, oh my gosh, I don't know all this stuff. You're just going to roll up your sleeves and learn. You'll be surprised how resourceful, and you'll be surprised when you're in communities. Like Raymond has a great community. I have a great community. When you're in communities, right? Which means our people stick together and we connect and we call and we're always together. You're going to learn from them. You're going to learn from each other. Like I always say, employees talk to employees, entrepreneurs talk to entrepreneurs. So you're going to get a whole group of people that you're going to be able to ask questions. Well, how do you do the bookkeeping? How do you do that? And to your point, employees now work for you. So when they don't show up, guess who gets to do the work or find the work quickly? So you're always, I think some of the best entrepreneurs are just amazing problem solvers. I know I am. If people say, what is one of your top skills? I am a very fast problem solver and fast thinker. Like I'm finding solutions and pacing to a solution because I want the result. And a lot of that kind of thinking is not, it's around you. You just don't know how to do it. You haven't turned on that muscle and said, how do I think like that? And how do I speed up? Because a lot of you have been in COVID coma. That's why I've been calling it, Raymond. You've been in a COVID coma for a while. So like, I got to kind of get up from my Netflix and kind of get thinking again. So we're going to turn off the TV and turn on, well, you still have a TV. It's going to look like this, though. We're going to get educated.
Wow. I saw a great cartoon that showed a woman, like her hair is all frazzled. Obviously, she was getting up late. And she says, oh, no, I'm late for couch time. And that's what employees who have nothing to do at home do. I'm not saying employees are bad. Without employees, Apple would go bankrupt, Ford would go bankrupt. The world needs employees. But the word employee is taken on a negative connotation because there's some employees who don't think. They try to get away with things. They call in sick if they've got the slightest itch of their nose. And I'm not saying all employees are bad. I have wonderful employees, and so does Laurel.
Yeah.
But when you think like an employee and you don't care if you get the job done, if it's 5 o'clock, you just leave. If you're a bad kind of employee, then be a good kind of entrepreneur. Because what Laurel was talking about, when you have to solve a problem, Laurel and I, as our greatest entrepreneurial asset, have impatience. Impatience. That's our greatest entrepreneurial asset is impatience.
Yep.
None of this, oh, let's do it tomorrow, mañana. No. Figure it out. And she'll infuse you with that desire to do it. Masteryofgreatness.com. Get your ticket immediately. They're very expensive. They're $997. And at the moment, there's no charge. No charge. No charge. Absolutely no charge. Unless the red screen comes up. Maybe you came in late and didn't know about it. If you go to masteryofgreatness.com, just fill in the form. It asks you for name and an email address, obviously. But when you go there, if it's all red and it says sorry, then you've come in too late, because there's a maximum number that our platform will allow us on the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this weekend, the enrollments are flooding in now. I don't know why people wait to the last minute to register, but several hundred a day are coming in right now. And so I don't know when we're going to hit our limit. But
can I add one thing, just because I do summits, we're both broadcasting on a regular, that's kind of our new life, right? Is the only thing I would say about register now and put it on your calendar. I mean, the retention, don't take someone's seat if you're not serious. That's the other thing, because I know Raymond does fill his events and they sell out. So be serious about being a player and in this mastery of greatness. And I want to see you. I want to teach you, but don't take a seat if you're not serious, because there's people who really, really want to be there. And so the minute you register, go to your calendar, go to this thing called your phone, set a little alarm that gets you up every morning to say, show up and see Laurel and Raymond and Brian and Dr. Gray, whoever else he puts out here. So I just wanted to add that, because I'm sure we're all having the same issue as everybody registered for everything. And then sometimes you don't show up. It's like, don't take someone's seat. What we do is so critical to people's lives. So we're serious. You be serious.
Isn't it funny? Taking someone's seat is now an anachronism. There's no seats. There's no airplanes. There's no hotel ballrooms. There's no staff at the back. Like all the words.
You're taking my link. Don't take their link. How about that? You're taking someone's link and it wasn't yours because you weren't serious.
Let me tell you something I'm going to do for you, and it'll help you do what Laurel just advised you to do. I have a dear friend, Les Brown, and I asked him if he would give a gift to everyone who registered. And he has made a gift, sent it to me, and I will send it to you. Robert Kiyosaki, the greatest wealth teacher of all time, he has made a gift and sent it to me, and I will send it to you. Jack Canfield, the most loved speaker on earth, has made a gift for you and sent it to me, and I will send it to you. And Bob Proctor, the grandfather of the entire personal growth industry, can you believe it? He's exactly a decade older than me. I'm 76, he's 86, and he's as sharp as a whip. He's gorgeous, he's handsome, he's got the greatest posture of anyone on the planet. Never a hair is out of place. And he has made a special educational item for you. So Les Brown and Robert Jack Canfield, you don't have to give it to us in advance. You're going to be there.
All right. But if you want him, I'll give him some goodies too.
So Les Brown and Robert Kiyosaki and Jack Canfield and Bob Proctor have made a special gift, which I'll give to you as soon as you show up.
Good.
So you register right now and then do what Laurel says of actually show up. Yeah. Wow. This has been so much fun. Yeah, so much fun. And people who are actually going to be there, Brian Tracy, the greatest master in the world on the psychology of success, Dr. John Gray, the greatest master of the world on men-women relationships. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, kids are from hell. And Laurel Langemeier, sorry for that. That's the little known sequel. And Laurel Langemeier, the millionaire maker, and Raymond Aaron. And there's going to be others too that you may not know of. So I'm just listing the big headliners. But for example, a dear friend of mine is an Olympic gold medal high hurdler sprinter. And he qualified for his first Olympics when he was a kid. And it was boycotted. It was the Russian Olympics was boycotted. And so he qualified but couldn't go. And then in the next Olympics was in Los Angeles. And just before the starting gun went, he noticed Pamela Anderson in the stands, lost his concentration, and he was third in the world. He was rated third in the world and came dead last. And then he qualified for the third Olympics and had a cold, and so he couldn't run. And he qualified for his fourth Olympics, which is unheard of. Nobody in the sprints has ever qualified for 4 Olympics in a row, and he had plantar fasciitis and couldn't run. And so he did something that no one in history in the sprints has ever done. He qualified for his 5th Olympics as a grandfather, and he won Olympic gold as a grandfather running against kids. It was unbelievable. And he's going to be there teaching you about mindset. And because it's important these days to take all or parts of your business online in a very creative way, I have the #1 internet marketer in North America and the #1 internet marketer in Europe, both presenting on this stage. I can't even say stage any longer.
I know. It's broadcast.
At Mastery of Greatness, masteryofgreatness.com. Masteryofgreatness.com. You can't even click on it. You just have to type it in. It's 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Which Friday? This Friday, this coming Friday, September 25, 26, 27. When you go there, if it's a white background and they ask you for name and email address, just complete it. If it's a red background that says a big sorry across it, then you can't get in. So do it as soon as possible. And you get to hear from Laurel Langemeier, Dr. John Gray, Brian Tracy, 2 of the greatest internet marketers in the world, and an Olympic gold medalist teaching you about mindset. And just for registering and showing up, you get a gift from Les Brown, a gift from Robert Kiyosaki, a gift from Jack Canfield, and a gift from Bob Proctor. Holy mackerel. This is the biggest, best, most, what's the word if you do something amazing? Not most adventuresome. Anyways, look, I'll call it adventuresome. I can't remember the word. The grandest plan that I've ever implemented. It's going to be huge. You're going to learn so much. I'm going to be spreading such joy, and Laurel with me and Laurel and 2 other superstars and other presenters. We're going to really spread a lot of light, because what I have a wonderful expression. I'm sure you know this one, Laurel. It's so beautiful. A candle is not diminished by lighting another candle. And so Laurel and Dr. John Gray and Brian Tracy and I and 2 super internet marketers and an Olympic gold medalist, our light is very bright, and it doesn't hurt us at all. In fact, it makes our light even brighter when we can light your light and make your light be grander and beautifuler. So let us light your light. Let us turn it on even more. Let us help you. Laurel for sure, she will expand your thinking. You won't think of yourself as just this one thing. And it's so beautiful. Let me give you a quick example of what Laurel's talking about. So I have a coaching client. He's a chiropractor. And he called me and said, oh my God, this is terrible. I'm going to go bankrupt. I just opened up a 2nd clinic. I've got 2 rents to pay, and I've got no clients. I got no patients. I don't know what to do. I'm going to go bankrupt. I say, relax. You can make lots of money. You don't understand. I am a chiropractor. We have a self-governing body that says we are not allowed to make money unless a patient is lying on our table and we are adjusting their spine. I say, oh, stop it. We have a self-governing body. You don't know the rules. I shouldn't even use you as a coach. I said, are you finished yet? Okay, fine, I'll listen to you. I said, the 2 biggest things that humans do badly that they need a chiropractor for are they lift badly and they bend badly. He says, that's right. Make a video on how to lift correctly. Make a video on how to bend correctly. All you need is a tripod and an iPhone, and you hit the video button and stand against a blank wall, and then say it's $30 for each, but if you buy both of them, it's $49. get your secretary who's been sitting around doing nothing, and get you that's been sitting around doing nothing but moping. Contact your staff, either phone them or send an email, and you'll make more money each day than you ever made adjusting their spine. Because he makes $40 per adjustment. He can only make a few $100s a day as a chiropractor, and he's making almost $1,000 a day selling his videos. He says, oh my gosh, maybe I'll never go back to being a chiropractor again. I said, really? Can chiropractors make money without somebody on their table? I didn't know that. So I just had to expand his thinking.
Yep.
I've done it once. Laurel does it every day. Every day. She's the master at it, or mistress.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting because there is another chiropractor from Toronto that I met through Ken and Ryan. And she was, again, same, almost exact conversation, because Canada does, unlike the United States, has really like tight restrictions on what they can do. But that doesn't mean she and her husband can't own another company that does all education. I think she might, actually she did. She hired you to write her book. She was a client of mine first, and then she went to you're going to help her do a book. And now she does supplement lines. Now she does education. We've taught her how to do her own summit. So she had 150, 200 like people. Oh, you know exactly what I meant, because she actually is with Your Young Living now. She added that to her. So what she did is she just added a lot of revenue streams that made sense. So earlier I said, you know, some people have random, like little different things. That's busy work. But when you have additive revenue, which is more advanced, we're going to teach you that on day 2 of our workshop. Then additive revenue just seamlessly just builds, and it builds and it builds. And so, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But she has, I don't even know where her revenues. I know last time we talked, like she's just like, I got it now. So what happens when people get it is they get off and they go get busy making a bunch of money. She'll come back to me probably in the next few months, and then she'll need to like figure out how to like minimize her taxes and learn how to invest it. So it just is a constant cycle of money. We start with how do you make it? Because that's the most important. It changes your psychology. It changes everything about you, who you are being as a human walking around. When you are that confident, you can say, I can make money. I can make, $100 today. I can make $1,000 today. I can make $10,000. You're different when you can behave like that. And that's the human I want to coach and talk to. But first I got to get you there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm breathless listening to you.
Thank you, Raymond. So great. I'm so looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be awesome.
Tell us something personal about you, because people look up to you and they see the great, amazing Loral Langemeier in the movie The Secret. Tell us something personal that you're willing to divulge that people will feel a connection with you.
Wow. So I always have to go to my mom stuff, choosing to be a mom. A lot of parents, I think, choose parenting, and I chose to be a parent, but I chose to be a single mom. And I think that's probably one of my grandest things is raising my children. I have a daughter who's going to be 14 in less than 2 weeks, and my son. And even though they're from, 2 different folks, I married my daughter's father. Those kids are just the closest kids, and we have the most remarkable relationship. They have remarkable relationships with money, with freedom, with education. So probably the personal stuff that I love to teach once I get a hold of a client and their family is teaching them really how to just raise amazing men and women. I think a lot of people don't parent, they just get them raised, right? Versus like this very purposeful, values driven, like, do your kids know your values? I mean, we do those kind of activities together. So I think just the way that I chose to parent and what I've done with my kids is very personal, but I also am pretty open about how I do it, because I want other families to have that, I would say, joy and freedom. And I love John Gray. I mean, he was my personal coach for a long time. Love that man. And there are so many suicides right now, and so many divorces, and so much problems. And the other part of that relationship where John and I have always, been great is money. Money is so stressful for so many families right now because they don't know how to fix it. So like, I'm an answer for so many of those people. And I love the combination of your people together. And we all know each other. My gosh, I've worked with Brian. I've worked with, everybody that you've mentioned. I was in the Kiyosaki camp from 96 to 2000. I was the cash flow, game distributor. I mean, everybody that, we're just in the circle of people together. But I think the people stuff is, just how I chose to be mom, and how I chose to to do that. And so I'd say it's very personal, but I'm also very open about it because I think it's critical. And then, I mean, just other things like right now, you know, my son's gone, so it's mostly us. My husband is still commuting, you know, I have kids in Canada too. Right. And like this summer, one of our fun COVID things is like, all right, we're not going to sit around. We're going to go out and we're quarantined. So we got some dirt bikes together. So my daughter and I are dirt biking. Yeah. Yep, she kicks my ass. She is so gutsy. She'll just haul up these hills. She don't care if she falls down. She's so pliable. I'm like, I'll meet you on the other side. I don't heal that fast anymore, so I'm not going to go up and fall down and slip down rocks. But just fun stuff. So I have lots to say to parents about what they're doing and how they can have a better relationship.
We actually saw her running back and forth behind you.
Oh, that's actually Chris, my assistant. But yeah, no, yeah, she's actually was in school heading to dance, so she's an amazing dancer.
Well, I'm glad you revealed a little bit about yourself personally, and we're totally in awe of your ability to teach us how to earn whatever we wish. And thank you for telling us that we are the roadblock between where we are now and our future, because we don't believe we can do it. And even if we believe it, we don't know how to. So even if we want to, even if we have the desire and the strength and the health, we don't know what to do. Like that chiropractor client, he thought he couldn't make any money unless there was a patient lying on the table. And so you have to know how to do it. And then you got to get guidance like Laurel gives. Like, she works with you, man. If you start working with her, man, you better be ready to start flying.
Well, and I want to just speak to that. So it's kind of fun. I wore this for a broadcast earlier, but just because I'm super proud of my son. But like, I will be in New Orleans. He plays in Lafayette next weekend, and he's a starting center. And that was our commitment is, since I'm not traveling, I'm going to go watch him play ball live. But I share that because I think a lot of you that are listening, the excuses you would use, like I could have said, well, you know what, I'm going to be in New Orleans. I really can't do this broadcast. I'm going to be, you know, just coming out of a football game and whatever. I just want you all to notice the excuses that you still live by that are so irrelevant to your success. Like I wrote the fifth book, my New York Times book I wrote in 2012, although it's still a classic. It's called Say Yes and Figure Out How. I mean, it's called Yes Energy, but it's really the premise of start saying yes in your life and figuring out who and how things get done. So many of you have rules that are just ridiculous. Like I'll have people that say, well, I can't do your whatever workshop because I'm traveling or I have another meeting. It's like, well, then go do your meeting, or honestly sequence. Is that meeting critical to your success today, or is learning to make money success today? Could you move the meeting where it has more sequence to it? Like, would you learn to make money and then go to the meeting and have more success of making money if you have more skills? So I just want you to notice your thinking or lack of putting things into sequential order. I mean, Raymond and I just do it naturally. But I just found I love breaking it down. It's just like your thinking blocks. And Bob Proctor, actually, I mean, he and I were business partners and we've done a lot together, but like time block, and I call it thinking blocks, like is how you think about different things, and just notice how out of order, how inconsistent it is, and how it's totally blocking you. And you don't know because you're so unaware of it. So a lot of the work we do, like Raymond said, I'm very intimate and very intense about just mirroring and saying, do you notice you do that? And they'll be like, I don't do that. It's like, oh yeah, you do that. And and what's interesting is we can see you now on Zoom do that.
Can I give you an example?
Yeah.
I was talking to someone who said they really wanted me to be their coach. And so I said, okay, fine. I interviewed them and I said, yeah, you got the qualities of coachability. I accept you. And they could afford it. Everything was fine. And then I found out that she already had a coach. And I said, well, you can't ride two horses at the same time. So I'll just back off until you finish with your current coach. She said, no, I'm kind of ending with that coach. I just have to send an email ending it. I said, okay, then we can get started after you send that email. So when will you be able to send that email? And she said, end of the week. I said, well, that's 5 days away.
Right.
So why don't you send it earlier than that?
Like right now.
Really, I had to convince her not to try to make a sale. That wasn't the point of it.
Right.
You and I can't believe that she wanted to wait 5 days to send an email. Like, you and I would just send the darn email. So I said, well, I will wait on the phone as you type it. Oh, I didn't want to waste your time. I'm a patient guy. And so she actually sent it, but she said that I forget the word she uses. Her chest was constricted. Like she was so frightened to send the email then as opposed to waiting 5 days. People, and it's all just an excuse. Send the darn email. How hard can it be to move your little fingers like this? Like people come home, honest to God, people come home and they say, oh, I had an exhausting day. What did you do? Oh, I sent so many emails. Oh my God, your little fingers moved. Like, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So just notice that. I think so many people, it's why I brought up, being, if you're going to register, be committed. Because, this COVID coma has got a lot of people tangled up. So we're going to dissect a lot of that. That's my whole goal, is to reteach you your thinking about money, but a lot of your money and it coming to you has got to move some of this, inefficiencies, the way you think, your lack of, your excuses have all got to move out of the way. It is a yes world. And I can tell you right now, I just got to say this, and you all know, the United States is in the most interesting. We're the movie. Shit, watch us and watch our news. It's like fascinating. It's such a joke. And it's very serious. It's very, very serious what's going on here. So why was I sharing this very serious here, and that, it's just the excuses. I'm just going to, just so many people are using the election also. That's what I was going to get to. And it's not just the American, like, let's be honest, I'm married to a Canadian and we're on a ban. I can't even go see my husband's family in Canada. We are banned from countries right now. It is such a significant, we're banned from 9 countries. And if things don't change, it's going to get interesting and worse. So the whole world's watching like what's happening here. And I just want you to notice, like, the greatest opportunities are right now. And they're not just in America, they're everywhere.
Yes.
Everything I teach about money is get as lean as you can. These are my 3 points since COVID hit. And I've been on broadcast damn near daily since March 7th, when I was in Houston and took one of my last stage flights home. And there's 3 things. You got to get really lean. You got to make as much money as you can, because right now, especially right now, actually it started around July and August, the tipping point of buying assets that are totally wrecked. You can buy a restaurant for you could take it away. We bought a Ford dealership, Raymond, you're going to die, outside of Texas. One of my clients found it. He already knew how to make money. He was great real estate. He was here to learn how to do alternative assets. And so I said, well, go shopping. And he's like, what am I going to shop for? I said, what do you want to buy? And he said, wouldn't it be fun to own a dealership? I said, well, then go look. He said, well, I can't afford one. Notice that psychology. I said, you can afford anything. I said, you can borrow other people's money. I said, that's the lead. Money's not the concern. Find a good deal. So right outside, about 60 miles outside of Dallas, in April, he found a deal, 1.1 million. And then we watched in May, and I said, don't do anything. Just watch it, evaluate it, watch it, evaluate, taught him how to evaluate it. By July, it had gone down to $497,000. Bought a Ford dealership for $497,000. You can buy these chiropractic, businesses that people, didn't come to us and got fixed. You can buy a restaurant. You can buy, an auto dealership. Strip malls are going, they're vacant all over. And I promise you, strip malls, if you have enough, what's called carrying costs, strip malls with enough, reconstruction money could be moved into assisted living homes. Yes. And people are downsizing in this environment. And there are just so many things. So that's the more advanced stuff I love to teach you, but you got to get it together. You got to learn how to make money and then just think differently. There's so much about, I think, Raymond, we've been doing this for so long, but I've really gone back to this thinking and just how, and not like thinking Bob Proctor kind of thinking, but just like daily decision making, daily excuses. Like, well, I can't do that because I'm traveling. I have something, or I have a meeting. Like, really assess what you do spending your time. So few people have value of time. And I can tell you, like, the greatest transfer of wealth is amongst us right now. You're either sitting down in COVID coma, or you are up looking around saying, I don't know how to buy any of this stuff Laurel's talking about, but I'm going to go shopping and I'm going to figure it out. And then I'll help you figure out how to buy stuff. Communities are going to decimate around the world if we don't help keep them together, which means you got to be a great entrepreneur and learn how to find damn good deals. And they're everywhere right now. They're everywhere.
Let me give you a proof that what Laurel's saying is right. The worst economy that the world has ever had was the Great Depression of 1929 to 1939. And everyone thought that that era was bad.
Right.
But think about it. Think about it. The Dow Jones Industrial Index is 30 stocks in the United States listed on the New York Stock Exchange. 14 of those started during the Great Depression. 14 of the 30 biggest stocks in America started during the quote worst time. And that's what's going to be happening right now. You don't have to make the biggest company of all time, but this is the time when you will be rewarded for entrepreneurship, because change kills people and you can pick up their assets for nothing, and change explodes other people. For example, Hertz went bankrupt. The iconic Starbucks has announced it's not reopening 25% of its stores.
Yep.
How about Disney, the #1 most loved company in the entire world? Its sales year over year are down 91%. I don't know that they can survive. And yet other companies like Amazon have skyrocketed, so much so that it took Jeff Bezos, however old he is, I don't know, say 60 years old. It took him 60 years to be worth $70 billion. It took him 4 months to earn another 70 billion. Why? Because his company is skyrocketing. Other companies are crashing. And that gives gigantic opportunities right now. Anyways, masteryofgreatness.com. Laurel says, go there. And Laurel says, don't just register, show up. Because if you show up, you're going to get gifts from Les Brown, Robert Kiyosaki, Jack Canfield, and Bob Proctor. And when you show up, you're going to hear lessons from Brian Tracy, Dr. John Gray, the amazing Loral Langemeier, and me, and several other experts that you may not know the name of, but they have giant, giant value. Leave us with one sweet message, my friend.
Oh, wow. Let me make you a millionaire. How about that? It's pretty rare that I say it, but like right now, just like we said, that the times are so, I have never been, I'm not going to say busy, but engaged. Like, I mean, I was counting the amount of companies that I've been offered ownership in if I bring my brain and my strategy. I mean, that's where you're going to get when you get really successful, is people like just hand you things as a shark and say, could you just be my lead strategist? And like the industries that I have joined are so cool, and I'm having so much fun, and you should have fun. You should have so much fun, and making money is not bad. It's awesome. And because when you make money, you're serving other people's lives. So I'm serving more people, having more fun, and you just have to come join us and let me make you a millionaire or help you walk the path.
There you go.
There you go.
A millionaire maker herself is going to be presenting at masteryofgreatness.com. Get into it, get all the learning, and get the gifts. Thank you very much, Laurel. You are a joy to be a friend with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.